You are what you eat, part 4. If your ancestors 10,000 years ago didn't used to eat it, then don't eat it. Hi, welcome everybody. It's Jason Barlow, RMT, and I'm here today as your therapist and as your coach to help you transform any stress, tension, and pain into health, happiness, and vitality. Boom. We are almost 8 months, I believe. No, longer than that. Maybe coming on 10 months. Wow. Since I released my first book, the 15-Step Playbook for Pain Relief. Folks, for now, you can still download a free digital copy, but you have to move quick. Go to my website, jasonbarlowrmt.com, and leave me your email, and I will fire off a digital copy for you for free. You can put that on your smartphone and your laptop. But please don't just put it there and let it sit there, as you might be doing with other books, potentially. Digest it. I have written this condensed book of nearly 20 years career. Well, it is over 20 years career in industries from fitness, nutrition to present day dealing with pain, stress, tension. And I bring my experience personally as a father, a husband, and an entrepreneur, and so on and so forth. And I condense this into this very book, the 15 steps. So it's my top 15 steps that anybody, if they apply them, can get results. But the key word there was apply them. Okay, 2 keywords, granted. So each week for the last number of weeks, we have been exploring the 15 steps and just diving a bit deeper into this through these podcast episodes. The last 3 episodes have been dedicated to the next few steps, which orientate around my food recommendations. And today is no different. I'm staying with these. I just want you to get the background information to what it is that I'm sharing in my book, because my book, I just give you 3 simple steps, boom, 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 and you can go do them. And I'm getting to them, but I just want to give you all the preceding information, why it is that I give you these 3 particular nutritional steps. I'm giving you the science, the background to it. This is why I justify these 3 recommended steps with respect of how you feed your body. We are all on a daily basis dealing with all sorts of content, the very content that we choose to ingest by way of our thoughts, by way of our friends, by way of our work choices, by way of our food alone is influencing our expression of health, happiness, and vitality. Remember back that formula. I'm going to bring it up on the screen for those of you watching me, that we have results in our life. These are our metrics. If you're not getting the results that you want in your life, it's on you. There are many great coaches. There are many great resources and books, and you can spend millions and millions of dollars. Bottom line is you've got to become your own coach and inspiration, because you, no matter where you go, you're always there. So you want different results. It's on you to take different actions. Well, where do your actions come from? They're coming from your feelings. Where your feelings coming from? And this is where we get scattered and very confused. We go, well, it's coming from her and from him and from them. And if the books just did this, and if they just did that, and then if I had this amount of money, and we go on and on and on with this endless cycle, because we almost justify, I need to keep putting it off. The stars are not aligned, because if I keep putting it out there, it's not my fault. And I'm here to say it is. Partly, a big part is on you. Sorry, but you got to be told. I learned this the hard way too. So our feelings are our feelings, and they are coming from our thoughts, which come from our mind. So our mind is driving our thoughts, and you're like, well, no, it's not. Like, I have no control. Well, take control over them. Learn how to control them. How do you do that? Well, if you've been listening to me for a number of months now, you might well know that my number one, my go-to method is meditation. It's a training tool by which you can narrow your mind to a particular object or particular thought, and then you focus on that concept, that idea. Why? Because we want to imprint this in our mind and our heart, so much so that it carries forward into our day-to-day life, and we can deal with difficult people and difficult circumstances. That way, then you have different feelings. Same situation, same person, very different feelings. Now it's a feeling that's actually going to benefit you. It's going to drive you to take different actions than a mind of anger or irritation or feeling triggered, as my kids like to say. And guess what? By taking different actions, you are going to get different results. And wow, look at that formula. 3 steps and 1 result. Boom. Thoughts, feelings, actions give you different results. If you engage in different thoughts, feelings, and actions, that is. Now, jump back to today. This is critical. This was shared to me by William Walcott when I was taking the metabolic typing diet several years ago. Okay, maybe it's over. Oh my, I'm doing the math. It's almost 2 decades ago. This was a very transformative program because it opened the doorway to some great research by Dr. Weston A. Price. If you've never heard of him, go down in the description below. Make sure you copy and paste. There's actually a website, westonaprice.org. Just go and have a look on that website after I'm done. And that way, what you can do is indulge yourself and educate yourself. Remember, I'm a big advocate of educated, you get motivated. When you get motivated, you're more inspired. When you are inspired, nobody can stop you because you are inspired from within. You're not dependent upon the right circumstances, the right people falling into your lap. You just continue to plow and move forward regardless. And so these images I want you to have a look at on that website are going to illustrate to you the changes that can arise due to the change of diet. Now, Weston A. Price, I'm going to condense this as quickly as possible. This might be in another part. Weston A. Price, back in the 1940s, he was a nutritional pioneer and a dentist, and he traveled all around the world, and he studied indigenous people in different parts of the world. And what he found is that they were all abundant in health, and they had huge scale of longevity. Like, there are records of people living into their 140s, pain-free. They are aging, but they're not suffering with what we suffer with in a Western world. And what he was so intrigued by was, well, how? Yet, in a typical Western society, average age was, 70 or 75, 80. Why are these people almost doubling that? What is the difference? And there's many reasons, but the critical reason I'm getting to today is by way of foods. And the foods that they were ingesting were very specific to the regions that they were actually living within. They couldn't grow crops in Antarctica, but yet they could down in Africa. They couldn't get mammals in the middle of Africa, yet they could in Antarctica. And so what you have to consider is that those early ancestors, and I say early ancestors, there's many people around the world still eating in this way, by the way. These indigenous cultures that still eat in accordance to how their early ancestors. Here's the difference, though. They are, we'll call them purebreds. They are in an environment where mother, father, and mother, father before, and so on and so forth. There's this continuous chain of purebred. And what I'm saying by that is from the point of view of their biology and physiology is made up in accordance with these thousands and thousands of years of evolution from that specific area, which then the foods that they grow are going to nourish their bodies far better than if you were to then bring a family like us moving into that region and trying to eat in accordance with the way that those ancestors always have eaten. Our biology and physiology is not adapted. Now, maybe in another 1,000 years, the Barlows out in the middle of Africa, maybe then at that point, it might actually start to pay off. But initially, it may not. And so what I'm trying to say is that one man's food is another man's poison. And this is within William Walcott's book, The Metabolic Typing Diet. The Metabolic Typing Diet basically revolves around this whole idea of what I'm sharing with you today, that what you eat is got to be specific to you. The core and the essence remains the same. And I'm going to dive into those 3 steps in the next couple of weeks so you get a little bit more in terms of what I'm specifically getting to. But I just want you to understand that today, if your ancestors 10,000 years ago didn't eat it, then don't eat it. Now, it's easy for me to say, and it's easy for you to hear, but the application of that can be quite challenging. And I'm going to put my hand up. I'm not following this 100%. I try to get as close to that as I possibly can and continue to lead the life that I lead. And I'm content in knowing that, maybe that's going to take off some years of my life. And I'm okay with that. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. The bottom line is that we live in a society where, we go out, we have food with friends, and we have certain experiences. And it's really hard to, prepare those meals and have that pure food all the time, every day. Unless we were living in an environment where we didn't have to go to work. Now we can just focus on seeking out our food, growing our food, preparing our food. But if you're like me and you're busy and you've got a lot going on in your life, you don't have the time and convenience to be able to prepare as much and seek out food and go hunting and so forth to get those nourishing foods that are going to be providing the very essence of what we're looking for. So for me, in my experience, and I can only speak from that, my experience and my training is that if you focus on the way that you view the world, your thoughts, to me, that's number one, because you can eat the finest foods in the world. But if you've not got this content figured out yet, it's going to create turmoil. And when you have turmoil in your body, it's stress to your body. When you have stress to your body, you're burning way more fuel than you need to. And it's going to be depriving you of the very essence of your immune system, the very essence of your hormonal system that aids in recovery and regeneration is going to be dented. And if you're going to get that on board, you want that on board, you want to improve your health, happiness, and vitality, you must change the way that you look at things. Thoughts for me are the most important nourishment. And then yes, the physical food that we actually choose to consume is also very important. But I would say, my experience, the nourishment of your mind is absolutely critical and number one. And number two, very close second, are the foods that we choose to ingest. Please take that on board. Have a look at the research of Dr. Weston A. Price because it goes far beyond what I've just shared with you there. Brilliant book, Nutrition and Physical Degeneration. But the images, if you just Google Weston A. Price and look up images, you'll see those pictures will tell 1,000 words and illustrate to you the differences that this can make. Now, I'm going to shut up at this point. I'm going to carry on in part 5. I'm going to dive a bit deeper into Weston A. Price's research because it is so, so important. And there's, key elements that you can extract from his research that you can instantly apply. For example, you like breads. I like bread too. We now, I do, seek out a sprouted grain bread. That is a far superior and more nourishing bread than a typical white flour-based, sugar-laden bread, as an example. So these are the types of things that I'm talking about. There's lots of great wisdom that we can extract from indigenous people and apply it into our busy daily lives. Thank you for joining me. I hope you found that of benefit. As always, your muscle health is my number one priority. That's why I'm here doing this. If you have any questions, you know what to do. Either email me, info@jasonbarlowrmt.com, or leave a comment below. But please share this video if you feel it's beneficial to you. Maybe it's going to be beneficial to somebody else in your life. Family, friend, work colleague. I'm going to help spread this message out there, folks. Please also go get that free digital book whilst you can. If you want the physical copy, go to Amazon and you can order this and have it delivered to your home within 5 days with that brilliant technology that we have available. I said I was going to shut up and I'm still going on 3 minutes later. So I am going to zip it right now. Farewell. Have a great